your line of you, Copper, and Patrick Kane has stayed together. What is it about the line that works so well?
Yeah, I think we've been working really good off the puck. We're working hard in the O-zone, creating some turnovers in there, and I think we're putting in our chances too. I think Copper the other day he turns it over and buries, and definitely makes us look good. So, but I think the work ethic and the play in the O-zone and working to get pucks back and kind of creating that offensive stuff is why it's worked well.
When Andrew's game is at the level that it's at right now and the way that he's contributing offensively, how much does that help your line and drive it even more?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all, we all have that ability to score, and when we get those chances, we need to bury them. So, and that goes, obviously for the whole team is we need to bear down on those chances, and Copper's done a great job of late to really capitalize on those chances. So it's been good.
When you look at this team's starts, it's been the first period in general may have been one of the weak points, and even in Ottawa wasn't the greatest start to the game. How do you guys improve that? How do you get better at coming out a little faster, stronger?
Yeah, I think just be ready to play. I think we've had some games where we've come out really strong, and then there's other games where we've come out pretty flat. So we need to be more consistent in the first period, and I know we're confident playing down and coming back in the game, but we don't want to do that every night. So that's something we definitely need to work on is being ready to play and trying to get the lead early and kind of play with the lead instead of having to come back.
Identity building has been one of the topics of discussion here in this room. How do you see you guys building on that throughout the season, especially from the start of training camp?
Yeah, I think I think we're pretty confident in our game right now, and I think like you said, that identity of always working hard, and I would say we're not the most skilled team in the world, so we got to be ready to work hard every day and come to work ready to go. So when the puck drops, we got to definitely be ready to do all those things we normally do in the second and third period. We got to be ready to do it right from the puck drop. So that's definitely an improvement we can work on and go from there.
It's been almost a month since you guys played the Canucks in Vancouver with that shutout win. What did you guys like most about that game? That I know it's a month apart, but that you can carry over tonight, especially in that Ottawa game as well.
I think the way we play with the lead. I think there were times in that Vancouver game where we got hemmed in our zone, but that's a big thing is bending, not breaking, and letting it get to you. So I'd say we didn't play our best in either game, Vancouver or in Ottawa, but we're finding ways to win, and that's what good teams do, and we got to come out and take another 2 points tonight.
Thanks, Cap.
Thank you.
Good morning. Todd, John had one of his better games of the season last time you guys saw Vancouver. Is he back in tonight?
Yep.
What did you take away from that game and what Vancouver showed you then?
The game in Vancouver, you're talking? Well, we were on a long road trip. We had a day off before, which a lot of times I don't think helps our team a lot. Gibby played real well in that game. We had some timely scoring. They were missing Pettersson that night, so they were a little short through the middle. I think it'll be, at the end of the game, we got probably better goaltending than they did. And tonight they've got Demko back. I don't know if he's going to start or not, but they're a handful to beat. I think Buffalo the other night had, they got a lead and then Vancouver came back, but the shots were 2-1 for Vancouver, and they were a handful. Tough out.
With Leonard being brought up just a few minutes ago, he said it was an honor to have the trust placed in him by the organization. What does it mean to you to see a young player come up and make these kind of contributions and then earn the subsequent call up that he's here now?
Well, John is, John. We can talk about John, or we can talk about players in general, but it's rewarding for the individual. He wants to be in the NHL. It's rewarding for the team in Grand Rapids. They're playing well enough that the players have confidence and they're ready to go. The staff down there has done a tremendous job. It's like leaving a classroom and moving down the hallway to a better, more difficult classroom, everybody plays a role in it. So bringing John back, when he went, I think I told you, we believe in him. We think he's an NHL player, and now it'll be his job to do that night in and night out over and over and over again. He's had opportunities with some other teams, and it didn't quite work out. We're giving him that chance now, and would love nothing more to see him make good on it.
You mentioned the last Vancouver game. You said sometimes the day off before isn't the best thing for team. What about that? Like when you kind of look at that, what kind of comes to mind for why a team may or may not respond well to a day off?
Yeah, rhythm in a team is important. You wake up in the morning, you do the same thing. I think hockey players are creatures of habit. Really, they tape their sticks the same way. They go out in the same order. They eat the same thing. It's just repetition over and over. And when you have an off day, they appreciate it. They want it. They need it. It's a must. But they get out of rhythm a little bit, and maybe they don't prepare the same way. Some of them have to learn how to do that. You think about men coming from junior or college. Off days are often different than off days here. They have classes. They've got other stuff going on. Here, it's your time. You've got to be able to manage it. And it's interesting with our group. On off days, there's still a lot of guys that come down on their own and do some type of workout or get some therapy or do whatever they need to do. And it works for some and not for others.
And I got a kind of a more long-term question. You got a couple guys on the team that are going to go in February, going to go play big roles for their country. When it comes to just long-term planning and knowing, obviously you're going to have, most of the guys are going to get a break, but you got some guys who are going to keep playing big minutes over there. What are the things you keep in mind about coming out of that, or things that just as a coaching staff, with some of those guys that are going to be playing high-level hockey during that time? Yeah,
it's interesting because one of our sports science leaders of the organizations in town, and he and I had a conversation last night about exactly that. There's two teams within our team now. We know that there's some Olympians that are going to be going, and then there's others, and the others we can run the tanks to basically empty when it's all said and done. Let them refurbish, and then what will the plan be when they get back? But we have 3 that are going to go, and their tanks are going to be low too. They owe it to their teammates and to the organization to leave it on the ice. And then they've got to manage themselves over there. But coming back, how are we going to deal with them? After the Four Nation break last year, I didn't think we performed real well. So we have to meet and lay out a plan for the group collectively, and also that mini group that's departing.
To go from number 32 in penalty killing to 14 coming into today's game, is that the kind of improvement that you were hoping for, or that you expected, or how would you characterize that? Is that a fairly significant leap?
Well, yes, it is. It's 10%. We weren't anticipating a jump of that caliber, and the season's obviously not over, but we were hoping just to be better in a few areas. We thought if we were, our number would be a little bit better. We would give up fewer goals, and we would grow it as the year goes on. And so far so good. The other night we were tested 6 times. That's far too many. Far too many penalty kills in a game. It disrupts everything. But the goaltender and the penalty killers did an outstanding job. We gave up 1. But it probably ended up winning us a game when it was all said and done. Scored a shorty as well.
Goaltending, obviously, a big part of that. Anything else you can put your finger on as far as what's going right this season as opposed to last year?
The structure part of it, they understand now. We've had enough training, enough time. The aggressive part was put into the structure. There's times where we want to go. And we need to go and get aggressive. I can see it from the bench. I can hear guys on the bench talking about it. It's not just passive. There's other times when a fatigue factor comes in. Now you got to really rely on structure. But goaltending is a big part of it for sure.
And is everybody available tonight?
Everybody is available tonight, yep.
Todd, this is kind of a part two to the question I asked you about being resilient, but also wanting to play with the lead more than you do right now. How, as a coach, how do you get the message across, or what do you do to hopefully get your team off to better starts? I think you could even point to the Ottawa game, the first few minutes of that one.
The Ottawa games, it was interesting because we're trying to make a line change, and Casper, basically they trip over each other. One goes to the box, one doesn't. So all of a sudden, before anybody's really got on the ice, we're shorthanded. That's a tough thing. It can work for or against you. Happened to us in Pittsburgh, where we got on the power play and we weren't prepared for it, and it hurt us. Ottawa was prepared for it, and it helped them. But we're into January now. We as a staff have to be very aware of our presentation to the players, the words we use. It can't just float through their ears and out the other side, because they've heard it a million times. We talk about shooting and volume shooting and all that type of stuff. If I'm sitting in my stall, I know I'm sick of talking about it. So they're probably hearing it, but I don't know if they're absorbing it. We've got to find different ways to present, to get their attention, maybe shorten it up. Body language is important when we walk into the room to get their attention. Ask questions. All of a sudden they perk up and, oh, is he going to ask me next? Anything we can to get their attention. Starts is part of it. We talk about it. We have some goals sometimes that we set for games and stuff like that, but this time of the year it gets difficult, and we got to create new ways.
Todd, we mentioned GR earlier. I mean, what they're doing now, it's almost historic. With the streak. I mean, and especially with the rosters always in flux down there, how's a team capable of doing that? How do you get on a roll like that?
Well coached, talent, but talent's useless unless it works, and it works together. So the coaches and the players have done a real good job of that. Confidence goes a long way. Team first mentality. They have veterans that have to get rotated in and out, and that can destroy a team if you don't have the right people involved in it. I'm sure they all want to play every night, but they've bought into this is how we're going to do it, and they haven't wavered on it. And they just keep playing and playing and playing. They haven't taken their foot off the gas once.
You almost expect to win after a while when you get on a roll like that?
Haven't been on a roll like that, so I can't answer. I wish I could. You have to phone Waddy for that one. Okay.